Alright guys, welcome back. So today what we're going to be doing is taking a look at this Kel-Tec PLR-16. This is a little 5.56 caliber pistol, and this does belong to a buddy of mine. And I have this gun for a couple of reasons. And the first one being, for this video, this is going to be a disassembly video of this little pistol. When I first got this pistol, when I started to take it down and take a look at it, it is a little bit different than what I'm used to. I've never messed with one of these pistols before, and so the takedown procedure, the disassembly of it, is a little bit different and a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing or have never done it before. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to take this little pistol down. If you're just curious about it, or if you have one of these and you're not really sure how to do it, we'll show you how to do it. And also the reason I have this pistol is he is having some issues with it. And we did a little research on it after he started having these issues. And while we have it apart, we're going to do a little fix to it. He bought a new extractor and spring for it, so we're going to be installing that and then test firing it. But instead of making this one long video, I'm going to break it up into two different videos. And so for this one, we're just going to disassemble it and show you guys how to do that. And then we'll make another video putting the extractor in and then doing some test firing to see if that fixed it. So anyhow, let's just dive right into it and start with the disassembly. Alright, so the first thing that we got to do to make things a little bit easier is we're going to go ahead and take the top cover off of this Midwest Industries rail that he's got on here. Now, I did try to do it when I first got it without taking this off, and it made it a lot more difficult to get this piston out of it. So what you got to do is this guy's 4 screws, 2 on each side. Just take those screws out, that top cover will come off, and it'll make things a lot easier to get out of the rifle. So just unloosen these screws, take them out, and pop the cover off. Now after you get this last screw out, this top cover will just come and it'll slide right off just like that. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to want to do is back here on the end of the rifle, kind of where this little sling attachment is, there's going to be this pin right here on the back, and that runs all the way through, and you got to drive this out so you can separate the lower down away from the upper. And I'm just going to use my little Leatherman mutt tool with this little punch here that's for the AR-15 takedown pins and get this pin punched out of there just like that. And there is the pin that you're going to take out. And then after you take that pin out, this lower half will slide down just like that. So now after you've got your lower swung down away from your upper, the next thing you've got to do is you got to come up here on your gas tube. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but it's got that little piece right there that sits in this little notch on the upper receiver. So what you've got to do, you've actually got to pull this out and rotate it about 90 degrees to about right there at the top. And then as you can see, it'll go back in the upper receiver just like that. And you can see it's pulling back here. There's the end of your little piston. So now from there, go ahead and pull everything back all the way to the end. And then you can pull your charging handle out just like that. So now from here, you're actually going to drop the bolt and everything out of the back. And there's where I was running into the issue with the top of the cover on, because of how tight the tolerances were. This has got to go up a little bit to let the bottom of this bolt drop out, and I was hitting on the top cover on this rail. So that's why I just said take it out and get it out of the way, and it makes this much easier. So just go ahead and just kind of lift that up, and everything will drop down out of the gun just like that. So now we can go ahead, sit that off to the side, and we can focus on this here. Now as you can see, it's got your standard AR-15 type bolt here in the end, and but that's really where the similarities kind of end. Now right here, you're going to have a little pin that goes through. It's bigger on one side, so it only goes out one way. And this right here is what retains your firing pin. So push that pin out. There's your pin. And after you do that, you can just kind of shake it around, and your firing pin will drop out of the back just like that. Then from there, you can just kind of lift up on your cam pin, take that out, and then out comes your bolt. Just take your bolt, slide it back in the front, and then line up your hole on the inside. Put your cam pin without the dirt on it back in, just like that. Now you can take your firing pin and put it back in. As you can see, this is a little bit different design on the firing pin. So what you've got to do is you got to put it with this little U-notch facing down, because that's going to line up with the hole on the back for the pin to go through. So you want to make sure you put that in with this little notch down. So go ahead and put it in the back. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. Put it with the notch up. Right there like that. Take your firing pin, retaining pin, stick it back in there just like that. Now with the bolt carrier put back together and ready to go back in the gun, I'm just going to put another light coat of this grease on the outside of the carrier in the parts that I know are going to be contact surfaces. Just, you know, put a light layer just about like that on these little rails here on the bottom, and then I'm going to put a little bit on the sides. That way when it goes back up in there, you know, this grease will get on the inside of the upper and keep everything nice and slick. So now, take and make sure your bolt's out, and then you can start putting it back up in the gun. Kind of just like that. Okay, so now that it's sliding all the way through, it was getting hung up on the bolt. It was catching on the inside of here, and I just had to just kind of wiggle it around, and now as you can see, it's going back in just like it should, sliding properly. So now you get it all the way to the rear to where your hole lines up. Take your charging handle, slide it back into place just like that, and return everything home. So now from here, you can just put your upper back, or your lower back up on your upper, take your pin, push it back through, and it'll kind of click into place and kind of be even on both sides. So now with that pin back in, everything is back together. So now all we're going to have to do is go back up here to the front, pull down, and as you can see your little notch come out, or your little protrusion right here. Just rotate it back down 90 degrees until it clicks into place right there just like that. And now everything is back together. All we have to do is put that top cover on. But now you can test for function, trigger works, resets, and it works. So now from here, all we have to do is put your top cover back on, slide it down into place, get it lined up with the screw holes, just like that, and put your 4 screws back in. Alright guys, so there is the disassembly and reassembly of the Kel-Tec PLR-16 little 5.56 pistol, and you know, as you can tell, it is a little different than what most of us are probably used to with the ARs and AKs and things like that. You know, a few different procedures on getting this out and getting that out and whatever, but you know, after you do it the first time or the first couple times, it does get easier, you know, because I know when I first picked this gun up from my buddy and, you know, started to tear into it, it was a little confusing, didn't really know exactly how each part came out or went back in and things like that. So I really hope this video was helpful to anybody who has one or thinking about getting one, or, you know, just you didn't know exactly how to do it. You know, I really hope it was helpful. But anyhow, guys, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And as always, I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next one.